Reno Tirikatni.
Tēnā koe, Mr. Speaker. It's a great pleasure to speak at the third reading of this bill and also to follow my whanaunga Tūtaho Nuku Korako as his eloquent speech just delivered, sir. And to continue on the Māori flavour, the Māori analogies, I'd like to start off, sir, by quoting a famous Māori proverb. And this is probably a bit deeper than Mr. Ducey's saying, but this famous Māori proverb, sir, is ka mate kāinga tahi, ka ora kāinga rua. And basically, what that symbolises, sir, is when one house ends, a second one arrives or something good emerges. And I guess we can apply those sayings in many contexts in life. But, sir, I believe that's particularly appropriate here because we are entering a new phase. This is a significant, transition, on the ongoing journey, the ongoing progress of Christchurch. And so I think that is most appropriate. And before Mr. Brownlee rolls his eyes about, all this Māori stuff, I do... well, no, actually, I do want to, actually, mihi. I do want to mihi to the Minister for leading this piece of legislation, and indeed all of the partners, in particular Her Worship, the Honourable Leanne Dalzell, the Mayor of Christchurch, and all of the strategic partners and everyone that has been involved in this, including the cross-party participation that has led us to this point. But I do acknowledge the Minister because to adopt the nautical analogy that Tūtaho Nuku mentioned, the leader of the waka is called the kai hautu. And the kai hautu, the meaning of that word, sir, is to stand in the breeze and not fall over. And sir, Mr. Brownlee has been the kai hautu. He's been able to stand and lead this waka and not be blown over.
Take a very big breeze.
Exactly. It would take a big breeze. But he has held the waka down and he has led this waka through to this next phase of, we're hoping more calmer waters, sir, because, Christchurch has been through significant change and upheaval and trauma and all sorts over the past 5 years, but we are entering into the step change whereby we are transitioning the ongoing regeneration through to the local council and indeed through to the local community. So we do commend that. Sir, I would like to, as the member for Te Tai Tonga, obviously note and also endorse the provisions within this piece of legislation which affirms Ngaitahu's Te Runanga o Ngaitahu as a strategic partner. I think it's wonderful that through the SERA legislation we are able to see a continuation of the evolving treaty partnership and the roles that mana whenua can play as part of the wider, the whole community in the ongoing recovery and regeneration of Christchurch. And so I do acknowledge that those provisions and the fact that there is an opportunity for Te Runanga to appoint a board member to regenerate Christchurch. Sir, and there are other things I do want to pick up from. I'm excited by what Ms. Eugenie Sage mentioned about restoring the Mahinga Kai site of Te Uhutai. And I do want to mention that again, sir, as a possibility for the redevelopment of the red zone area. Because Te Uhutai, for those that don't know, we know that there is a long history, but it was land that was granted as reserve, a fishing reserve for specific landowners in Christchurch, which was right, I guess, with easy access to the Heathcote and Avon estuary. And that land was taken away under the Public Works Act in 1956 for sewerage treatment works, which are still there today and provide a valuable service to the whole of Christchurch. And that was and there was never adequate compensation to the owners of Te Uhutai for around that whole series of transactions, sir. And so I would hope that with this new opportunities that are emerging, that some recognition can be given to perhaps restore a mahinga kai site, but especially to grant the owners tūranga waiwai within the city to exercise their kaitiakitanga, because that's in a sense all Te Hutai are asking for, is to have that opportunity within the city for those lands that were obviously now used for other purposes and have long done so, sir. Can I also mention my colleague Megan Wood and the great work that she's done, in particular the protection for Hagley Park and reaffirming those protections, and I acknowledge the government for supporting that amendment. I think that's very important. But we also know that actually North Hagley Park was a Māori reserve back in the day. The Christchurch provincial government, when it was back in those days, that was granted as a Māori reserve there. And but subsequent Crown actions, turned it into the Hagley Park that we know today, and that we all enjoy and we all love. And sir, you couldn't have got a better location for a big marae than right there on North Hagley Park. But alas, it's protected, so it might not happen. But we do know there was a magnanimous gesture from the Christchurch City Council back in the 1970s where they said, we need to have a national marae, we need to acknowledge and have a marae for all the community and make it a national marae. And the great council of that day said, yes, let's do it. And guess where they put it? They put it right by the sewerage ponds that on the land that was taken away from Te Uhutai. That's what they did. But we still value that important asset today, which is Ngā Haue Whā Marae, and the great service that it provides to the community of Christchurch, and in particular in the east of Christchurch. So, sir, I like to sort of add a little bit of flavour from a Māori perspective, particularly from a Haukainga perspective, to the wonderful array of different views and local views that are all part of the great city of Christchurch. And I'm very proud as the member of Te Tai Tonga to see all the progress that is being made, a bit slower in some areas than others, but I'm sure that with the Regenerate Christchurch and with Ōtākaro, that's another matter, sir. I would like to acknowledge the members for their efforts in the pronunciation of Ōtākaro, in particular the Minister and various other members, or at least having a mental probing to at least attempt to make a proper pronunciation of that name. And I have actually, sir, inquired as to the meaning of Ōtākaro. Actually, it's a very secret name, so secret that we weren't actually able to determine its origins, but I'm sure it will come out in some kōrero. But I do acknowledge, all the members for supporting the use of te reo and the pronunciation of Ōtākaro, just like Putaringa Mutu, which is the centre of the Island electorate of Mr. Brownlee's over there. So he does a pretty good job on that one as well. So, sir, I do support this bill. I think we look forward to the next 5 years and beyond to see the future development for the great city of Christchurch, and I can only endorse this and commend it to the House. Kia ora tātou.